And we're live. Welcome, everyone, to Adera Live. Here I am. And I am here with the beautiful and fabulous Jill Prescott. And she is my spiritual badass, okay? She has both feet planted firmly on the earth and is in life and remaining connected at the same time to source energy, okay? This is possible, to be grounded and connected.
Truth.
That's the truth, baby. She practices in meditation and intuition. She is an international speaker and facilitator and a published author of an awesome book called No More Fucking Secrets. It's a must read. She also is a Leo fire sign, and she seeks outlets for her gifts and finds much joy in offering guidance in a multitude of ways. And right now she is here for us, offering a little bit of guidance. Thank you, Jill. Hello.
Hello. Thanks for inviting me. And I see there's one viewer. I don't know who all is viewing, but we'll just,
We'll just talk. And if someone's interested in listening, that would be wonderful. We wanted to jump on a call today to talk about the macro and micro levels of existence as a human, as a being. Talk to me about this.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, I think this is a really relevant conversation considering everything that's happening right now on the planet. Because, there's so much that is shifting. There's so much trauma being created right now all over the place. And we talk about, the US because it's right in our face and blatant, and we're seeing pictures of, children separated from their parents and all of that stuff. But it's happening here too. Canada is not out of the woods with this stuff. Our hands are not clean. So because it's so in our face, we're really having to look at our history. We're having to look at how we're existing on the planet right now as human beings and what we're doing about stuff. And that's fantastic. There's also and that's kind of the micro level. That is us having our human experience and sorting our way through it on all kinds of levels. So how do we participate? What do we do that's going to actually evolve this thing? And then how do we take care of ourselves while we're doing that? How do we use this to really create our own evolutionary change in how we're living? How do we begin to see it through a different lens, heal our own internal biases and racism and all of that stuff? So we're shifting things on this level of the life that we're living right now. What there is as well to be aware of is that there is a macro level of this going on too. So it's not just that we're doing this little single life as a single human being walking the planet. And even, if we go beyond that to the concept that we are all connected, and science is now backing that up. So don't even try to argue with me about it. It's just what's so. So if that's the case, then on the other side of that, there is this macro level of things that are happening as well. So I'll give you a kind of overview as I understand it in my limitations as a human being. And I'm going to relate it to the chakra systems because most people understand at least that level of energetic existence, and in the Western understanding of chakras, of the 7 main chakras. So really quickly, we have crown chakra, third eye, throat chakra, heart, solar plexus. Say it again.
The root.
No, that's the next one down from that. And the one in your belly. What do you call that one? Oh my God, I've lost it.
Right. Okay.
Sacral. So the sacral chakra. Okay, so.
Island brain. Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we have been existing in the solar plexus chakra vibrationally on that energy level as a planet for many, many, many generations, which means essentially understanding, really quick little background to this. We are in a world of duality, so there's 2 sides to every coin. So when we talk about the solar plexus chakra, we're talking about personal power, creativity, taking care of ourselves, all of that, which is all good until you flip the coin over and it turns into domination. I get mine and forget about you. It's where corrupt government comes from, slavery, domination, all of that stuff. So that's the energy that we've been vibrating in, fourth dimensional vibrational energy. We are now existing, the planet itself and the energy that surrounds and holds the planet is fifth dimensional vibrational energy, which is heart energy, oneness, cohesion, a service to others. The other was service to self. So it's kind of like how I like to have people visualize it is this. Imagine that the air that we've been breathing and the energy that's been around our planet has been fourth dimensional energy. On top of that came fifth dimensional energy, and it gets closer and closer to the planet, and it pushes out that fourth dimensional energy vibration. So imagine that the closer it gets to the planet, that everything that is still in the service to self, still in that energy of separation, must get pushed to the surface. It must get moved through the energy of oneness and the energy of connection and service to others. So all of this is springing to the surface. It's why it's right in our face. It's why we can see it. It's why we're having to deal with it in the humanity of ourselves. So I don't say that to excuse us, because whether we like it or not, this energy is coming through. That's not where we have any say. What we have a say on is how we are going to end up on the other side of this process.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Totally. And how I was ranting about this morning in my writings, and I was talking about how the universe is always expanding. And so in its expansion, would that not make sense at a micro level that we would need to expand as well? And so the next level of expansion is this, as you call, the fifth vibrational
existence. Yeah.
Okay. And that is why the fourth is getting pushed in. So it's so intense right now because it's being very much like uprooted. Right.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So now we're in this position of like, okay, so we've just realized things that we thought were important, or how we were operating isn't the operating system any longer. And how are we, in a loving, compassionate way to ourselves and to others, going to now shift into this next vibration?
And, in a lot of ways, it takes a level of being willing to be in a place of allowing the powerful Kali energy, the powerful energy of being a demand for it not to be this way, standing for something, rooting into the earth and saying, no, I'm not moving away from this situation until it resolves. Right. So, we have to be so aware of how damaging spiritual bypassing is at the same time in these situations. So even though we know that, and we may really connect to this idea of there being a bigger picture here, we still are boots on the ground. So there has to be an up-leveling of our level of compassion and an up-leveling of our willingness for empathy and understanding of connection. But what that means is the limit on how you will tolerate that which it is not. The universe is not polite. It is not soft and mushy. It is direct. There is a place it's going, and you're going to get out of the way or you're going to get bowled over. That's how it works. So we can't pretend that we are not an active participant in this. Mm-hmm. We have to lay aside our fears around it and keep moving into it as much as we can as individuals. And the way to do that is to bring your personal gift to the game. So you were talking about writing. That's one way for you to be operating in that way. You and I having this conversation is a contribution to that. Mm-hmm. Supporting financially, if you can, those that are literally boots on the ground. Mm-hmm. There's lots of ways that we can participate in it at the level that keeps us healthy and in survival, but still pushes us out of our comfort zone. Nothing wrong with that either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like what you're saying. And of course, I totally agree with the duality of the energies, because everything can't be feminine and everything can't be masculine in regards to these energies, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I feel like with this new way of being, I feel like the feminine that's been oppressed for so long is just asking to rise, to just meet. To just meet masculine energy, right? And I'm not talking male, female here. I'm not
Thank
talking
you, exactly. Yep.
Just talking energies. As you're saying, one and the other. You have to have up, to have down, good, bad, all that stuff, right? So, so as this energy is coming forth, but I love what you're saying with like the boots on the ground, and we still need to have that masculine go-to and stance in a sense.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There's also this room for a very nurturing, receiving, feminine approach.
And don't get it twisted. Feminine energy is not soft. It is not soft. There is an aspect of it that for sure is nurturing. But if you look in the animal kingdom at the mother with the cubs,
right.
There is absolutely that time when the cubs are they're feeding, they're playing, they're running all over her, but they step out of line and she will grab them by the scuff of the neck and drag them back in front of her. So there's a tremendous fierceness in the feminine energy as well that is so required right now. And yes, that has to balance. The problem is it's been so out of balance for so long that there's a challenge right now to pull it back in, because the feminine energy also is the creator of community. It's no one gets left behind.
Inclusive.
So that is, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And we need the warrior masculine energy just like we need the warrior feminine energy. There's no doubt about that.
Totally. But they can work in harmony together and they can support
They have to.
Yeah. That's, I think it's there. We have this off balance, which is what's, a part of the whole scale of things too. OMG. Okay. So when you're saying that the way that we can start looking at this in a real healthy way would be to start to realize and uncover our own gifts and abilities.
Yep.
And to.
And our own biases.
And our own biases.
And our own internalized racism and our own, everything that's going on in here.
Transparency. Just
total transparency and a willingness to face it. Because the moment that there's a facing, the moment that there's an acknowledgement and a really come to Jesus conversation within yourself is the moment that you change from causing harm to being of service.
Mm-hmm.
So, and in that really it is the biggest thing we can be doing is bringing our gifts. I wrote something the other day. Can I read this? Because
Go for it.
Let me just find it.
Okay.
Keep talking.
Yeah, I don't know if this is off base. This is one thing that came up for me yesterday. I was coaching a lady and I was telling her a little bit about my story with my husband the day before, where I was listening to this audio book at 5 p.m. and I was doing my nails and I had fallen asleep. And he had come up with the dog at around 8 o'clock and they were kind of wrestling. And I woke up like, geez, you're so loud. Like, where's the respect, right? And he was like, what am I doing? Living with an old nanny? Like, and I was like, oh, nanny. And then I went to the spare room and I slept there all night. And, and then I woke up at 4 a.m. and I had to prove that I wasn't an old nanny. I was on it. I was busy. I was doing things. I didn't want to come home. Anyway, we eventually talked about it. And when I was telling the story to the woman, I had forgot the part how I had snapped when I'd woken up and been like, you woke me up, blah, blah. I just told the part about how he was an asshole and how he told me I was an old nanny. Anyway, moral of the story is I was feeling shame around sleeping already. So for him to say to me, you're an old nanny, I was already mad at myself.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so just having these bigger conversations around what's really going on instead of surfacey, well, you said this, well, no, take fucking ownership for what's going on inside of yourself. And that's the only way we're going to heal this place.
Yep. I totally agree. We've got to be there for it. I don't know if I can find the thing I wrote, but anyway. Here's one. Here's another one that's just as valid. If you're out in the world advocating and fighting for equality and justice for your sisters and brothers and ignoring your own inner work, you will cause more harm than good. An unhealed wound will fester and infect others no matter how good intentioned we are. So, we really have got to do this inner work, but then we can't just stick ourselves in that place either.
No.
We've got to then take that out and use it in a way that actually evolves the conversation that we're in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Love that. And that was sort of the point, even a little bit with my story, was that it was just a story. It actually wasn't really the truth. And that will tell a little story to suit me. So I look like the hero in this, or I look like the one that's, been the victim even, and in essence, it was me actually that was, that started the thing in the first place anyway. So
it's true. Yeah.
Okay. That was fun. And you know what? So what really got me, we'll finish off with this, but what really got me about having this conversation was that post that you did around birthing universes and things that are happening within us, which are also happening outside of us. And I think people just don't get it, that we are the universe. We have our own amazing, crazy planet making situation inside of us, and that's where we need to get our answers and our wisdom, and tap into that beautiful essence of us.
Yeah. And then so we have that within ourselves, and understanding that there is no disconnection. We're also there. Really, where we're getting that from is universal consciousness. So when we're tapping into that kind of wisdom, it actually has very little to do with our humanity. It has more to do with really accessing that pool of knowledge and truth that exists it's like in the air we breathe.
Right.
So,
it's like universal intelligence, or?
Yes. And so what we're doing really as human beings is we're now filtering it through our experience, our wisdom, and what we've learned in the human form. Which is why, again, it is so vital that we clean that channel as much as possible, so that what's coming through us and then coming out of our mouths isn't coming through fear. That it's dropping into a space, a container that is the human form, that is as clear and open and in that place of love as possible. So when it comes out of our mouth, it is a contribution and not a detriment to the situation.
That's beautiful.
And it doesn't matter if it comes out like loud and with a bullhorn. As long as it's filtered through love, you're good to go.
Good to go. Filter through love, you're good to go. And it takes work. It's like this cleaning of the container. It's not something that just boom, boom. It's a constant process. It's a constant filtration system. For
the rest of your life.
So that's the work. That's the big work here.
Yeah, and that's so considering that, then you got a couple of ways you can come to that conversation. You can go, holy fuck, this is, what do you mean the rest of my life? And like, or you can come to it as, what an incredible opportunity. I can spend the rest of my life being in the work. Like, yes, I'll take more of that. Mm-hmm. So when you're looking at something, when you're wanting to do the work, when you're looking for someone to lead you, when you're walking into a program, get into the one that makes you a little uncomfortable. We need warriors right now. We need people who are willing to say, like, bring it on. I'm here. Like, whatever it takes, I'm totally down for this. So, I really encourage people not to take the easy route. Consider your resistance your call.
Oh, I don't know. I'm going to quote a bunch of things. Consider your resistance your call. Love it. Boom, boom. Okay, so we obviously talked about a lot of things, and if anyone is lighting up to what Jill Prescott is saying, she has an amazing website. I just perused it, and I've got a little bit of juice. It's jealous of what she has. It's lovely. I love it. But you can do her amazing programs or her nights that she does. She also does one-on-one work. And she's got the book there, which is amazing. It's a definite purchase. And her TED Talk, you got to watch that too.
Yes, and I have a new program that's just getting leaked out to the inner circle right now. That is going to be
Ooh-wee. I love it. Well, Jill, as always, it's always a pleasure and a little uncomfortable at the same time.
Perfect. I love it. It's a little uncomfortable, but you keep coming back to talk to me. So I'm going to say that's a good thing.
I want more. I don't. Yeah, good. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
See you soon. Okay.
Mwah.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.